Hey, how's it going, viewers of YouTube? My name is Tyler Swope of Chico Crypto, and welcome to another episode of the one and only Crypto and a Cold One. Today's featured brewski is a watcher recommended Funky Buddha Hop Gun Indian Pale Ale. So thank you for the recommendation, viewer. Let's get into this. It's funky, definitely funky. So today I want to come in and be a FUD buster for a project who stole the show last year, rising from cents from the time of the mainnet launch in October of 2016 to nearly $200 per coin in January of this year, before retracing back down to where we currently sit. Can anyone guess what coin is from the chart? If you guessed the project was NEO, you are right. Now, a Twitter researcher who goes by the name of @ProofOfResearch or Crypto Medication put out an article called NEO, the Great Heist, an analytical research case study, part 1. The goal with this article was to show that NEO isn't telling the whole truth, but are they? Right away, the guy starts spreading lies and says the AntShares was a project that was incepted only a few short months before the rebrand to NEO. Let's have a look at that. Here is from the AntShares announcement thread on Bitcoin Talk. And look what we have right here. Picture proof of the AntShares core wallet and the mainnet going live around October 2016. AntShares made their rebrand to NEO on August 8th, 2017, a full year away. So no, the project wasn't incepted a few mere months before the rebrand, but had a running mainnet for a year. Right away, your article is spreading misinformation, and you even reference that Bitcoin Talk thread where I found that information. Should have done more proof of research, in my personal opinion. I mean, even in your article, a few short lines down, you say that AntShares launched their testnet in November of 2015. Now, in the article, it explains that AntShares was founded in 2014, which is correct. The author, although, says that nothing was being built during those 22 months in between the founding of AntShares and the launch of the mainnet. So, creating a new consensus mechanism called delegated Byzantine fault tolerance isn't work.
Nope.
Having a functioning mainnet that runs off the consensus is not work.
Yep.
Unlike other projects as of late who have rushed their mainnets, which over 80% of them are just Ethereum clones. This is a mainnet with a new consensus algorithm built from the ground up. That takes time, and saying nothing was being worked on between that time is both insulting to Honfei and Erik Zhang, the founders. Now, from my own research, Onchain, the private company behind the public blockchain NEO and their private enterprise-focused blockchain Ontology, joined the Hyperledger Consortium in 2016. Around the same time, Honfei and Erik Zhang released some amazing articles explaining what they had learned about the smart contracts. They were titled Reconstructing Smart Contracts, and it's a two-part series with the links to the articles in the description. If you actually read the articles and listen to their reasoning in designing the new smart contract that would be applied to NEO, you would realize that this ain't no joke. They took what they learned from joining Hyperledger Fabric and applied that knowledge to their own smart contract system. Even in the article, they talk about Hyperledger Fabric and what they learned from it. Crypto Medication's article then goes on to explain that NEO and Microsoft partnership was a bunch of hogwash. And this is what I can kind of agree on the most. There is no formal partnership between NEO and Microsoft. That was exaggerated due to malicious marketers who were part of the social media push early on. These people have since been released, and they are no longer supporting NEO. They moved on to other projects like Walton, which they got kicked from, and now VeChain. Now here is where the article just gets plain stupid. The author says that NEO had a third ICO, which came after the rebrand of NEO. This is completely false and shows how much research the guy actually did. He says the ICO, which launched approximately a year after the first two ICOs, took place between August 8th, 2017 and September 9th, 2017. The total amount of money that was raised in this ICO was $28 million, and they cite their sources, ICO Bench. All I can do is laugh at this because it's absolutely stupid. This is just false data from ICO Bench. If we slide down, it has the ICO price at just 3 cents USD. If you look at the price of NEO during that time, so Crypto Medication, you're telling me people could participate in the ICO and get NEO for cents, and then turn around and flip them on the open market for upwards of $50?
Yep.
You gotta do better research, and bringing that data forward doesn't give any of your other arguments validity. The article then goes to say how NEO is the sole owner of Loopring and invested all $45 million into the projects themselves. This again is completely false, as Loopring had over 50,000 investors, and the VC investors who participated include FBG Capital, YBF Ventures, GBIC, and China Growth Capital. Honfei is an advisor to the project, but saying NEO invested all the money is laughable, and again, you gotta do better research, man. Then he goes on to say NEO and Honfei are majority investors and control Deep Brain Chain. If you did your research, you would know that DBC is actually leaving NEO and moving to their own chain. This has caused massive controversy for NEO, as why would a project be leaving NEO? Now, why the fuck would an investor and owner of DBC hurt his own project NEO and move DBC to its own chain, especially after raising all the funds? Creating your own chain will cost time and a ton of money. If the hustle has already been ran, why bother? Why hurt your own blockchain project at the same time? Because he is not a controlling investor, that's why. So I am objective, and the biggest piece of unanswered evidence you brought up was in relation to Ontology. There are some overlapping things that have not been clarified, like who was created first, AntShares or OnChain? And did AntShares fund the creation of OnChain? If this is true, which I'm sure it is, then there has to be a way these projects will work together in the future. To understand how this is going to work, let's check out an old Medium post written by Ron C. in September of 2017, specifically an image. As we can see, AntShares was launched in 2014, and then in 2016 to 2017, the split happened. OnChain would be focusing on private and governmental needs, while NEO would be the public and community blockchain. OnChain created DNA, which is distributed network architecture, which would morph into Ontology. DNA's ecosystem would consist of private and consortium chains, legal chains, and identity chains that could connect to the public blockchain of NEO through cross-chain adapters and NEOX. I have had similar questions about the two projects and did what someone does when they have questions: go to the team. I had Malcolm Larider, Senior R&D Manager for NEO, on the show, and let's see what he has to say about the two projects.
Created with Ontology. There are actually many direct competitors to NEO projects. For example, Musica, which just was announced like 2 weeks ago for Ontology, and iMusify on NEO. Why is this happening? I thought Ontology was for enterprise solutions, and then NEO said they're going for enterprise. How is this going to be a coercion and they're not going to become competitors to each other?
Right, so there's a few aspects to that. So the projects that are developing on top of NEO are independent projects. So some of them do get investment from the NEO Global Capital, if they are seen to be supporting for the NEO ecosystems. And the vast majority are actually independent projects which decided to choose NEO for their platform because NEO fulfills their need. And I know that Ontology pushed a bit to get Musica onto their platform, and I don't know the exact reasoning for that. I don't know if it was that project or another project, but there was one project that had done their crowdfunding on Ethereum and then moved to Ontology. And that, I think that's a dangerous route to take. So it could be they argued that they had already done the fundraising before they got in touch with Ontology.
Okay.
So it's like a gray area in terms of that, but still I think it's a dangerous route to take for other projects as well if we are to keep our good relations with Ontology, because Ontology is the platform for data exchange.
Yes.
And the NEO is the platform for asset exchange, and that should be respected by both parties. And in terms of enterprise, there are different use cases for enterprise as well. So some of these enterprise solutions, they just want to have data exchange, and that's their main focus. And Ontology do have more in-house developers, so they are in a position right now where they can provide more help with that.
Okay.
But other enterprise solutions, they are more asset focused, and they would in that case prefer to use Neo. And the biggest obstacle to that up until now is that the in-house developers in the NGD team has been limited. And that's what we are growing right now. And we've had quite a lot of developers joining us the last few weeks. We are growing the capacity in-house. So now many of the new developers are focusing on the Java compiler, because the community have sort of picked up Python and Golang and C#, so these are maintained quite well. But we haven't really had a large Java community to pick up the Java compiler. So now we are first of all building up the in-house development capacity so that we can in-house expand and keep the Java compiler up to date. And with growing in-house development capabilities, I hope that we can also help more to provide development help to enterprises that does not necessarily want to do a token raise. They just want to use Neo for their enterprise use.
So from my clarification, it looks like Ontology is for data exchange between private enterprises, including identities. And Neo is the public blockchain for the public's assets, dApps, digital items, and eventually physical items. And just go to twitteraudit.com and type in his handle, @proofofresearch. Over 5,200 fake followers. Yikes, buddy. Don't worry, I audited myself and I'm as clean as a whistle. Cheers, viewers, and as always, I will see you tomorrow.